Hello, every pony, and welcome back to Fandom Fridays, where we proceed to check out all the fanfics that are not pony related. Why? Because you know you love it, Bootsy. Berserk. Loved by some, hated by some. Once gory, yet thought provoking. Sexual with raping undertones, and yet somehow deep. The characters could be base breakers, or they could be something you could root for. So, with all that in mind, why is the fanfic community of Berserk so dang small? I mean, for crying out loud. Bakuman, I can understand. I can understand Bakuman being tiny. It doesn't have, that much to go on. But Berserk? I just, why? It feels so small compared to some of the other communities I've been a part of. And there's no real reason for it all. But that doesn't mean that there aren't fanfics dedicated to this series. And there aren't crossovers either. Like, for instance, a crossover between Ruby. Yes, there is one. Or Full Metal Alchemist. Or today's subject, Winx Club. So stay here, won't you, as we hear at the Treeberry Memorial Library with the help of Win Whistler. I'm proud to present The Dark Child by the Paw de Quinzo. Enjoy. Dark Child by the Paw de Quinzo. Is that Spanish mixed with French? Chapter 1. Howling Smoke. Pacing. Thinking. Growing in frustration as numerous items began to float without her knowledge. Every few steps she'd stop all the items in the air would fall back into place as she stared at the orb on her desk. Griffin waited in utter agony for a call or message of any sort. She slammed her hands on the desk as she hissed past her clenched teeth. "Hold my magics! Where are you, boy? Headmistress Griffin!" The woman yelped as she turned with a dark scowl on. The tricks, 3 witches of her esteemed callers for the dark arts, as well as sisters, stood in the doorway. Stormy, Darcy, and Icy all gave her an odd look as the headmistress composed herself. "Ah, there you all are. I'll get to the point, ladies. Important persons come to magics. They're unfamiliar with the environment. So I want all of you at once. You!" The arm on her desk began to sound as it flashed repeatedly. Griffin jumped and answered a call with a voice no witch in all Cloud Terra's history ever heard before. A sweet tone came from Griffin as he donned a genial expression. "Are you here yet?" A voice sounded back in an annoyed tone, distorted from the other side by a foreign voice. Yet the trick said nothing as Griffin herself ignored it. "Yeah. Good. It is hit late afternoon, and I'm sending my best students to escort you to me before sundown. I could just wait until the morning in the woods." No. They know the way, and will get you here in a heartbeat. Let's make your way to the... You are on the bus, right? You used the invitation portal I sent you? How else would I get here? Then how are you calling me? How did you even get this office number to Cloud Tower? Calls of Witchcraft and Dead Arts, led by Mrs. Griffith. The bus driver has a phone on board, and I'm the only one on right now. And you're headed to Magic City Center. She hung up with a great sigh of relief as the trick smugly sneered at her. Icy spoke in a condescending tone. "What's the matter, Griffith? Scared your little lamb will get lost in a big bad city?" They all laughed before they were silenced with an eternal flame burning intensely from a raised fist in her eyes. The Griffith they knew and Constance were returned as she spoke with them of venom in each word. "Go to Magic Center. Escort him here before sundown." With scoffs, the 3 witches left for Magic City, the universal capital of the entire dimension. They speculated with one another on the way there. Stormy rolled her eyes as they entered the city. "Why does she have to do something so mundane? And what was with that whole before sundown thing? Was this guy like 12? Icy shuddered with a groan. "Who knows? But I never heard or seen anything about Griffith having a relationship so strange. It'd be funny if it weren't so creepy." Darcy flexed her fingers as she thumbed down the road. "Even so, the nut called me not too long ago about Stella's whereabouts. We could kill 2 birds with 1 stone while we're here. They ventured further into the city until they made it to the center, but no one was noticed there. Darcy ruffled her hair as he scratched it. Where's this guy supposed to be? We really should have asked what he looked like for a picture. Stormy folded her arms with a stern frown. Like I thought. Waste of time. Come on, let's get out of here. They turned to leave, but were hailed by a rough voice. Hey, you 3! Hold it. Icy turned with a glare towards the direction of the voice. What do you want, Mouse? We're busy! She raised a brow at the man before them, head-throw. Dark, short, spiky black hair, a black shroud acted as a robe hid all but his face. The hilt of the blade stuck out behind him. A deep scar crossed the bridges of his nose. He tilted his head side to side before holding up a photo of Griffin. You 3 rizzes? I've been lost all day looking for Eddie. They're supposed to take me to this old lady. The tricks glanced at each other, before caught speechless, before Darcy spoke up. That's us, but what's your relationship with her? What? Stormy interrupted with an abrupt question. You new teacher? You don't look older than us. Icy pulled back the collar. Suddenly she was asked. You're as big as an ogre, but you're human. What are you, her secret weapon? The man made a face at them before he shrugged with a low grunt. Who knows? I just need to get to her. The tricks once again looked at each other, confused before Icy smirked. Okay, hey, I know she wants her present by her side, but we should show you the town so you can be on your way. Are you sure we should do that? It'll get dangerous at dark before the sun's starting to set. Said God from somewhere. Don't be so scared. There's nothing more dangerous than the tricks. Follow me. What's your name? As I don't know, Sherlock Holmes. You try to make it up. There's no ownership pronouns here. Doesn't matter. Who? What do you think of magics? I would love to tell you. It's all too bright. Hello? What's your whole reason for being here then? Hey, Vic! You don't need to know. Ah! Will somebody please tell me who the hell is talking? He grew silent as he followed it from a distance. Stormy whispered to her sisters as he glanced back. I'm not alone in thinking this is suspicious. He smells awful. Icy shook her head. Not at all, Stormy. This guy sounds like the voice we heard, but he's a human. Who knows what Griffith and wants to get to her before sundown? This has to be the person we're looking for. He looks so rugged and dirty. Darcy looked back with a simple smile, before she faced her sisters with a marvelous expression. He's got fresh cuts and bruises on his face, too. Maybe there's something to that whole time limit. She dumped at her cell phone ringing, and answered it with a dopey voice of her henchman came through. My mistress! I found the ferry again. She's not too far from the center. Are you sure? We're here now, so we can meet up with Stella in the alley. You better not mistake Stella for another. I promise. I have my glasses on, and she's with the same fairy who caused me trouble last time. That's good. Now get rid of those glasses when we meet. An ogre with glasses isn't intimidating at all. Yes, ma'am. Darcy hung up the phone as Icy stopped to turn to the man. I know we're supposed to take you straight to Cloud Tower, but something important came up. Say, could you help us out, actually? It'll be a quick second. He looked up to the evening sky with a scowl on. I can't stay in a public place after nightfall. He turned from the tricks and began to stomp away. The side of a blade nearly as big as himself, if no longer hung on his back behind the shroud, set at an angle rather than straight down, so the tip didn't meet the ground. Stormy ran after him and tugged on his shoulder. Hey, you're supposed to come with us! She fell back with a yelp as he shoved her back. She held up a hand with bolts coursed through the fingers. What's with you, jerk? I'll teach you a lesson you won't forget! Before she could extend her arm to fire a bolt, he had already snatched her hand with a crushing grip. Fingers, palm, all snapped and popped from the pressure. His eyes held murderous intent for anyone in his way, including herself. His voice was darker now. She began to sweat under it, and her skin paled as it crawled. Don't touch me! He pushed her back and ran from them before they could process the scene that had occurred. Stormy's face flushed red with frustration. I hate him already! Can't we just leave him to rot? Darcy shook her head with a sigh. Well, it's official, Stormy. You're the weakest of us. Let's at least meet up with Nut before we go back. Griffin can deal with this by herself. A group of fairies giggled amongst each other as they mingled. New to each other as the school year had just started, they already began a growing friendship. One fairy with pigtails gasped and pointed head. Sit that out! You know, I would make a joke about Griffith always seeming to get a hold of Guts anywhere, but that's too obvious. They all looked in the direction of a robed figure with blood pouring down his neck and rushed into an alley, holding the end of a metal rod. A blonde one took in the scene. Not going anywhere near that. If he can solve that crime and throw at me, Techno, come on, you saw that too, right? A magenta-haired one held up a holographic screen with a stern face. There's something emanating from him, and he's got a reopened wound on my quick scan. A big one. What do you think, Bloom? One with bright orange hair stood up concerned. We can't let him go on his own like that, can we? How come no one has helped him? The last fairy, a brunette, looked around worriedly, unnerved by the silence in the night. She twirled her highlighted hair with her finger. How come no one's around? We could be up to something awful, but Yusa's right. We have to help him. No one else is around. They all agreed as the group ventured into the alley, a narrowed road into a botanical garden. The air grew dry, and a different scent appeared without a trace. Yet the man leaned against the doorway, before entering by breaking the glass doors with a brick. The blonde held on to Bloom. Oh my gosh! You could have just waited until tomorrow if you needed a plant! Or you, Flora! The brunette shook her head as the fairies followed the man. No way, Stella. There's something dark about this. The plants are all terrified. Titna looked around with a small orb that floated in front of her. A light shone from it before it turned to her. I think we should just leave. Numerous break-ins just occurred, and not a sound was made. We're not alone. A wolf of howls echoed the entire garden, followed by a myriad of howls. All fell silent before a massive thud sounded between them. They turned as a great shadow of a werewolf loomed over them. A claw rised to strike down Flora first. Stella and Techno used their magic to create a shield in the nick of time. As the beast pushed back, yet the shield cracked. Music shouted out, There's more! A pack of werewolves leapt into view, surrounding the fairies with fangs and claws bared. Drool trickled down their mauls as they snarled at the young girls. However, after the initial attack, not one stepped forward. The first werewolf spoke as he sniffed the air near them.
No, they are not planted, but they smell so divine.
Another spoke from the pack.
Haven't had a real woman in a while. Seeing these girls have made me hotter than ever.
A feral bark chuckled lowly.
With soft-soaking skin, smooth as a baby's. I think we can have fun with these girls instead.
Is this library going to turn very, very, very M in the next few minutes? The last one sniffed around as she shook her head.
There's a gas leak? Don't matter. This place is too eco-friendly to allow fire.
They all began to near the group. Stella shook as she began to glow. Now's the time to transform, don't you think? A synchronized nod. All but Bloom transformed into their fairy forms to allow full magical use of their abilities. Before it dispersed. See, dissipated? Bloom, you have to transform. I don't know how. Then I'll defend you. Stella's ring transformed. Hey guys, remember that ring? That thing with the whole entire ability to spin around and use fire, solar magic? You remember? Good times, good times. Stella's ring turned into a magical scepter that fired intense bolts of light. Struck the chest of a werewolf, then sent to another one. The blonde grinned as he aimed for another blast. Try talking yourself big now, Famats! Techna raised her hands as dizzle balls flew out, tickling the arms and mouths of some of the dark creatures. Don't let your guard down yet. We can't make them move. Misa looked down as he was singled out by another pack. Steven smiled as he howled, but the wolves all stared confused. What? You teach me how to howl then? They scoffed and howled together. The volume raised an ear-piercing decibel as the small group fell on their knees holding their heads. Music cackled as he kept her ears covered. Thanks for the lesson. I'll try a higher octave next time. Flora used her magic to call upon the roofs beneath them, and the vines of the garden to snare the wolves. Some were pinned down, while others cut away the living plants. Then all at once, the werewolves' eyes flashed brightly, and they snapped free with their newfound strength. They moved to the blur, the fairies unable to keep up with their eyes. The moral plummet as music flew against a tree, a deep bruise on her cheek. A werewolf stood over her with a small bladder of blood on a raised face before it blurred away. Stella opened her mouth for a spell, but had her scepter swiped out from her grip. She too had been sent across from a small distance of the wall, a footprint on her stomach as he gasped in the air, or opened her mouth in terror. Don't, don't. She let her lunch in the grass before her head was pulled up by her hair. The wolf had blasted near his sight as he reveled in her whimpering. Tenta created a shield for herself and shouted, "Everyone get in!" Flora and Musa managed to dive within the safety of the shield. Musa attempted to fly, but been pulled down by her ankle, slanted repeatedly against the dirt. Her fairy form vanished. He held up her high with a cackle as he licked her face slowly.
The dirt suits a bitch like you, but I got something that'll fit like a glove in you.
No!
Yes, not so smug. Not when you're the one in trouble.
Mm. I'm kind of pulled here, people. On the one hand, normally I get ticked off by this type of thing when the girls get really, really weaker to allow Guts to come in and save the day. But on the other hand, the girls are starting off and are just on their first year of school, so there's that going for them. On the other hand, I feel like this is just we only set this up just to allow Gus to come in and kick everybody's asses and save the world. On the other hand, the girls technically are kind of a little bit this weak, so the girls aren't exactly sexy levels of strength in the show. My apologies, but they're not. On the other hand, this is feeling like an excuse just to do it. I'll probably best articulate my thoughts in a bit. Right now, back to the fic. With his index claw, he cut her clothes clean off as the wolves began to howl more like hyenas. Stella was forcibly stripped as Tecna began to sweat profusely, even as Bloom's Flora's help. The pack simply was stronger than them in every end. It seemed like the end. A knife whizzed out from the dark of the garden and into the eye of the wolf that held Musa. Son of a! At the end of the blade, where the hilt should have been, was a small bike bomb instead, ready to explode. As he reached for his eye in pain, a small explosion in half of the head would runt it into a visceral charred mess as the body fell dead. Right after, the whole botanical garden burst into flames. Flora Patika shrieked in shock. Ah! I can hear them! They're all crying out. Who would do this? The wolves all began to cough horribly as some wandered aimlessly. All forgot about the fairies as they helplessly swiped at the air with their claws, allowing Titna to use a holographic visor as he scanned Werewolf. Anatomical scan complete. These vile creatures can't see in bright light like this. And due to how active their huge body is, they make intake more oxygen to compensate. The smoke is killing them faster than it would us. Even the roaring of the fire is drowning out any sound we make. They're absolutely blind. The man they had chased leapt through the fire and into view as he snatched Musa and Stella from the ground. He ran right for Tetna as he threw Stella at her.
Get going! I need my sword up, so one of you carry that one.
Bloom caught Stella and Tetna helped carry her out. Flora wiped tears from her eyes as he followed the man with her friends. Swiftly, she ran faster than the airs and nearby as he saw the werewolves start tearing each other in primal fury. This is a nightmare. A living nightmare.
This is the calm for the storm.
She looked up at the place of the mysterious man, then gasped as he froze into a group of werewolves that lunged down. No escape in sight. Then all went red. Tetna nearly dropped Stella's legs as she saw this lumbering man swing a weapon as big as himself at astounding speeds against the werewolves and cut them all to pieces in one swing. It was too big, too thick to be a sword. It was more like a piece of heavy iron. There! I said it! You people can go now. It cut them all to pieces in one swing. The blade. No. It was too big to be called that. Too rough. Too crude. Too thick. It was more like a heap of raw iron! I already said that, Vic! You didn't need to add it! Tetna couldn't believe it. Such a simple mineral used by primitive humans that could slay what magic could only fend it off. Bloom had seen the aftermath and what was to come after. Flora wiped her eyes as he was pushed forward, forced to a run as he stumbled over the limbs of the monsters. A shrill cry lurched from her throat as he saw past the blood in her eyes. The man roared at her.
If you got time to scream, you got time to run! Go!
She didn't stop her shrieking, but began to sprint ahead as the man cleaved any and all wolves in the way. The botanical garden began to fall apart as the group broke through the doors of the man's iron slab. The building collapsed with a pack of evil creatures inside. Music came too. She was in a dorm room with a dark shroud wrapped around her body, dressed in her pajamas. Tetna peeked out from the door. Tetna, what's going on? Tetna turned to her, and Music gave a surprised hug. Fear and concern all over her as she said, "You're awake! I mean—" She didn't know how to kill her little face. There was a certain fear in her eyes she couldn't hide from her friend. "We were in a bad spot, but the man came and saved us. The werewolves were trapped in the garden fire and managed to get to Althea, so you should lie back down. Where's everyone else?" "When we got to the college, Farragut recalibrated the magical barrier. Set this all to a storm except for the Black Swordsmen. Asserted all up in their beds." Stella, Bloom, and Flora all listened closely against the headmistress' door. Stella peeked through the keyhole and saw the young man being treated by the hair mistress, Farragonda. Pleasant, yet powerful fairy with many years of experience under her wings. Stella tugged at Bloom's pants. "Hey, people who are in the Wings fandom, I gotta ask, after spending so much time with, the rude faction of Ruby and having to listen to their complaints about Osbin, will you please tell me if, you guys have got that many complaints about Farragonda? Or if you want to meet her? I'm just checking." "Scott himself was in a chair and took off his armor. He's got big scars. There's something on his neck, too. Looks like a mark, but it's bleeding. That was the one we saw today. It's still going." Bloom hugged as he leaned away against the door. "Can't make anything out. I wish we had a way of curing them better. I can fix that." The trio turned to look at Musa and Tetna. Musa placed her hand on the door and soon came from the other side. Farragonda groaned. "The barrier walls will keep us safe, yourself included. Don't need to throw yourself out there to the jaws of death again." The man stood up from his chair as he placed his hand over the mark to gather the blood before he showed it to her.
This means it's not over. No one's safe around me. Thanks for the healing.
So, as a guy who's actually, spent, much longer time reading Berserk, that's gone actually away from the Golden Age arc, I had to ask, where's the rest of Guts' party? The sorcerer, the summoner, and most importantly, a certain very dark-tanned woman who is probably very, very scared wherever she is right now. "Let us help you. Griffin will certainly come to you as soon as I let her know where you are. You can't do this alone." There was a silence for a time. A stiff stillness before she spoke again with a shaken tone. "I know you haven't treated you the best in the past. You were such a unique case. We didn't know what to do with you. Please, let me fix my previous mistakes."
For 4 years, I've been doing this every night alone. There's nothing else out there that makes me feel alive than that. You all knew that. It's okay to hate me. Just say it.
Stella leaned back as the girls all stumbled away from the door. He swung the doors open, but stopped at the sight of the fairy, smiling nervously. His eyes pinned on Musa. This allowed Farragonda to snap the young man by the wrist. Though her action was fast, her hold was gentle. "Guts, listen!" It didn't matter as he flashed a horrid glare and a feral snore his way as he ripped herself out of his grip.
Don't touch me!
The fairy stopped into hostility, but Farragonda persisted. "Guts, let me help! I don't want you to die. Your brand is magical. We have spells to subdue it. Always have. Let me join you. I really mean it. We'll apply a seal, and in the morning send you to Cloud Tower immediately." He reacted as he looked at each fairy before to scout at Farragonda.
Fine.
This opening chapter shows, well, little promise. There are, of course, spelling and grammatical errors coming out the wazoo, but that might be a problem with my phone more than anything else. Hey, you try reading a fanfic from your phone and doing a live read like this. Let's see how well you do! But I'm also a little nervous going in here. There is some hint of chickification. It feels like the girls are being weakened just to make Guts look good. I know I said earlier that technically this is the beginning of their year, so I'm not expecting them to be as badass as they are in the show, but there is a limit to how well you could do that, and there are some times where even that can go too far. But this is M-rated, so I'm a little okay with the nudity, but it's still a little worrying that the girls might just be there just for appearance's sake. Not to mention, I'm also a little nervous that I don't see hide nor hair of a certain retarded girl who was very, very traumatized and I'm missing her. Also, I don't see the other members of Guts' party, which does make me wonder if this is a completely alternate universe where the certain Eclipse A. Wait a minute, what am I speaking Pig Latin? If you're a Berserk fan or if you've been in anime for a while, you know about the ending to Berserk! It's kind of common knowledge. Berserk has probably one of the worst cliffhangers, no, the worst cliffhanger in all of anime history, and we all know it! But still, I'm kind of curious where this is going to go. One down, thousands more to go. See ya next time.